What's going on, guys? It's Luke here. This is how I'm going to be approaching the week from November 17th to 21st, 2025. I'm going to be showing you guys all the levels that I have marked out on my charts, just basically some potential scenarios that I'm looking at, and then after that, we'll go over the news. Before we get into this, if you guys want to join the Discord, link is in the pinned comment. We're going to be running some voice chat trading again this week, so go pull up for that. And then link for Alpha Futures sign up link. If you guys need a discount, links in the pinned comment. And go follow my TikTok because the news might get changed. I'm filming this pretty early because I have a busy weekend. So if anything changes, I'll update you guys on my TikTok. So go follow me on there and make sure you stay up to date with how I'm approaching the week. So let's get right into this. We're going to start with NQ and then we're going to go to ES and I'll tell you guys kind of just what I'm looking at overall. So starting off, we're going to start on the monthly and work our way down as usual. Monthly, still maintaining bullish order flow. Of course, candle is obviously pretty bearish on the November candle, but regardless of the fact, we don't really need to worry about the monthly, but we are in bullish order flow. Now, on the weekly, if you guys watched my last weekly outlook, I said I wanted to pay attention to how price was going to react off of this weekly bullish for value gap. And as I said, it barely inversed it. So we wanted to see if price was going to break back into the upside or if it was going to continue and, push into it and then continue lower. So as you could see throughout the week, this past week, price, where's Monday right here? So price came down. Right here. Price broke back in from the weekly for value gap because we barely had the inversion on Friday. We came back in, closed with this strong wick. We came back up, and then we came back down. So we had that push back in after we barely inversed the weekly. We pushed all the way back to the top of it, and then we continued down. And now we actually ended up putting in an SMT off the highs. We have a weird bit of price action going on, but on the weekly, overall order flow is still bullish until we break below this weekly low or we cleanly flush below this weekly fair value gap. Now we're going to move down to the daily. As you can see on the daily, we have been shifting downwards. We had a nice break to the downside. We ended up getting a nice shift back up. We put in a bearish SMT with ES because ES ended up pushing all the way higher. NQ failed and put in a lower high. And then we ended up just getting a nice sweep of the lows from this past week's week's lows over here, and we ended up putting in a bullish SMT. So now we have conflicting SMTs off the highs and the lows. So again, price action is a little bit weird. I'm going to get into that, but I'm going to show you guys first what I have marked out on my charts. So at the top, obviously, we have our all-time high. Always keep that marked when it's in close proximity, right? So I have my all-time high marked out. Then working our way down, I have the previous week's high, which is this past week's high right here. And I have previous week's low, which is this past week's low right here. Dropping down over here. Oh, we also have this weekly low down here at 24,158. Then going on the daily, I have marked out this daily fair value gap right here. I have this daily high up here just as an extra draw on liquidity. And then I have this daily low all the way down here. So main draws on liquidity and the main things I'm looking at first is going to be previous week's low and previous week's high. So we also have this newly formed daily fair value gap after the close on Friday. So again, price came back in and reacted off of this weekly bullish fair value gap right here. We had a nice break back into the upside, a break back down, and right now the weekly candle did close bearish below the previous week's candle, but we're still maintaining overall bullish order flow. Now the thing is, we put in that bullish SMT off the lows after getting sent down from that bearish SMT, so price action is a little bit weird. I'm going to show you guys ES really quick, and then we're going to get into the scenarios I'm looking at. So pretty much the same thing on ES, obviously monthly maintaining bullish order flow. We go to the weekly. We had a bit of a stronger inversion this past week, but this week's weekly candle, same thing. We really didn't, close much differently than we did last week. On the weekly, I have marked out, obviously, our all-time high. We have previous week's high, previous week's low, and then I have marked out pretty much the same draws on liquidity. We have this daily fair value gap, this daily low, this weekly low. But as you can see, ES took out this high, pushed price down, bearish SMT, and now ES failed to take out this low, putting in a bullish SMT. So we have a bit of a weird situation going on. So let's go back to NQ. What I want to see happen with NQ is I really want to be using this daily fair value gap right here for guidance. I really need to see what price does in this gap, and I feel like this gap is going to be a great point of guidance for the start of the week or throughout the week. If price comes back in and inverses this gap, then I'm going to be assuming price wants to at least push up to the previous week's high and take that out. And then from there, we'll have to reassess and see what's going to go on from there. If price comes into this daily fair value gap and rejects, then I'm going to be looking for price to come down and potentially take out the previous week's low and maybe continue lower from there. Now, In terms of bias, I obviously don't have a strict bias, but obviously the higher time frame is still maintaining overall bullish. Again, until we end up breaking below this weekly low, my higher time frame bias is still technically bullish, and I do think that we continue to push up until we get below that low. Then my higher time frame bias will start to shift. So again, our weekly's overall in bullish order flow. The daily has shifted bearish, but we put in a bullish S&T after putting in a bearish S&T. So we need to just pay attention kind of to this daily fair value gap and gather info from this gap and see how price wants to react off of this gap. If price comes in here, we start to get a rejection, we're probably going to want to seek down to previous week's low. And then from there, we'll have to see if we want to continue lower or have a nice reversal from there. So that would be scenario number one. Scenario number two, price comes into this daily fair value gap, inverses it. Then we're going to be looking to seek out previous week's high. And then from there, we could either continue back up to all-time highs or we could see another reversal back down. But the main points are going to be your previous week's high, your previous week's low, and this daily fair value gap. You're going to be really wanting to pay attention to those areas and see what happens. Again, conflicting S&Ts, when you have stuff like this, it does get a little bit confusing, especially for newer traders, but I'll be paying attention to these three areas right here: previous week high, previous week's low, and this daily fair value gap, and really paying attention what wants to happen from there. And I'm still maintaining an overall higher time frame bullish bias until we start breaking structure on like the weekly. So we do have a ton of sell side liquidity obviously built up. Like, it's an insane amount of sell side liquidity, but you obviously don't want to be jumping the gun and trying to short just yet. You know what I mean? You really want to wait for that confirmation. So I'm going to be waiting to see what happens in this gap and see what happens from there. You know what I mean? It's going to really depend on the news. We're going to get some volume, hopefully, in the news coming up, and we're going to go through that same plan on ES, basically kind of just see what ES correlates with NQ and see what happens kind of in this daily gap right here. So let's go over the news really quick. Again, this could change because it's early in the weekend. So if anything changes, I'll update you guys on my TikTok and I'll update in the Discord. So, links below for that once again. So starting off on Monday, we have some orange folder news. So far, we have Empire State Manufacturing Index, and we have FOMC member Waller speaking at 3:35. Monday, I will be trading. I'll most likely just be de-risking and eval, and I'll be trading funded but de-risked just to save some capital because I do believe we have a good rest of the week so far. Tuesday, we have no news, but this will be a normal trading day for me. No news middle of the week is fine. I'm just trading this just as a regular trading day. Now, Wednesday, we have FOMC meeting minutes, but this is at 2 o'clock. So Wednesday will be a normal trading day. FOMC meeting minutes isn't the actual FOMC event. So this will be a normal trading day for me. Hopefully, we have good volume in the AM session. On Thursday, we have at 8:30 NFP change, unemployment rates, Philly Fed, and then we have tentative unemployment claims, and then at 10 o'clock we have existing home sales. Personally, I'm going to be waiting for this news to pass, kind of see what happens from there. Hopefully we get some data wicks to use as targets, and this will be a normal trading day overall on Thursday. And then going into Friday at the end of the week, we have Flash at 9:45. We have 10 o'clock, some orange folder, and then some more orange folder, Treasury Currency Report, which is tentative. So this will be a normal trading day as well. So pretty much everything will be a normal trading day. The only thing is on Monday, we will be de-risking. Tuesday will be a normal trading day. Wednesday, normal trading day. Thursday, normal trading day once again. And then Friday, we have a normal trading day. So I'll update you guys if anything in the news changes or anything is added or anything's taken away. But that's it for me, guys. Keeping an eye on these areas on my chart. On ES, I'll give you guys one final look here at NQ. And let's have a good week. Pay attention to these levels, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.